Welcome to the weather forecast for the week beginning Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. This is Chief Meteorologist John Ensworth for Longmont Public Media. Sorry, I was kind of gone for the last couple weeks. The last week of school was 2 weeks ago, and so many insane things happened so fast, and so much was due, and so much work had to be done that I just could not get to this at all. All the days were really weirdly messed up, and I'm also moving to a new classroom, so I had to get everything out and piled up. Last week, I was at, as I said last time, was at a chaperone for a trip to DC for a bunch of students. So that 14-hour days and total of 76 miles of walking ate up a lot of time too. But back to normal. Here we go into the summer. We have a third quarter moon in the morning sky Saturday, June 10th. That should have been Friday. Might be a typo. The sun is quite active. We've got a number of sunspots towards us. In the last full video, we had a large kind of scary spot right around the corner of the sun here that was going to possibly mess up stuff on Earth. It is up now over here. So we're still sort of in the danger zone with that one, but we'll keep an eye on it. From 2 weeks ago, or actually 3 weeks ago, the drought conditions were kind of bad on the eastern plains here, starting to get exceptional down here in the corner, southeast corner. Tremendous improvement. The state is inching its way towards drought-free status again, so this is great. And the way it's looking, as you're going to see, it's probably going to be getting better, not worse. Maybe we'll have to keep an eye on the western slopes. Looking 3 weeks ago nationally, we had a lot of bad stuff in the Great Plains here. We were pretty good. Everything has eased some. Across the nation, just about everywhere. I just did a blink back and forth and didn't see very many areas of any significance that things got worse. Smoke, though, is worse, and Canada is really dry. When we take a look at the models, we're going to look at how abnormally hot Canada is. If the moisture is coming into the United States, that means Mexico and Canada are not getting it as much. So hopefully the summer turns that around and these forests can get some needed water. But right now we got Western Canada and Eastern Canada fires. Let's take a look at, maybe we'll do this one more time, but we're just about done with snow. Take a look at the whole season. Started out just a little above or right at the median peak, and then things shot up and got really fantastic, and then really, really fantastic, and then kind of went back to just fantastic, and now this is our last one here. It's been cooler than normal, and a tremendous amount of precipitation has hit the state, and so we've actually bumped up to being fantastic still. Yeah, snow should be melting now, and it is, but we are above normal still for the amount of snowpack there is out there. And that's because of all this rain. Last 7 days, a large amount of the I-25 corridor has received 2 inches or more. That's fantastic. But even the western slopes, we have 1 inch amounts out here, a little bit of dryness there, pretty good amount of rain on the plains. Scooping in 2 weeks now, that's unbelievable. I mean, that is widespread 2 to even 8 inches of precipitation for most of the eastern half of the state. That's a lot of water. So things are doing fantastic hydrologically, and it'll look even better on the drought map next time. Take a look at severe weather. We did have a lot of hail there. There are a lot of roofs that need to be replaced, ours included, but that's just about everybody from Berthoud to Longmont, and I think down to Berthoud. I'm sorry, not Berthoud, Broomfield. Start with a B. So there's the second week of May, third week of May. This is your expected severe weather climatology. Here we are into June, and I think just second week of June. Yeah, we're at the peak now. So even if thunderstorms aren't expected across a wide region to produce a lot of hail, any thunderstorm might do it. So always just keep an eye on the darkening sky to the west, and if you can park your car under protection somewhere this month, it's a good idea. Looking at the actually expected severe weather, and there's nothing much in Colorado for Wednesday, Thursday, down the southeastern Friday. That's where we had some drought conditions, so good to see some storms happen there. We do have a potential for some flooding precipitation. Let's see if I can pull off a new trick here. Here's a live radar for Wednesday afternoon. You can see that the thunderstorms are forming over the mountains. Not much on the plains right now, and they aren't moving. And so there are a couple of flood warnings here. There's a flood warning there, and they're just kind of forming in place. You can see the airflow through going to the northeast, but they're not moving from wherever they initiate. So there's, again, going to be very little storm motion today. So if nothing forms over Longmont, there's something right there between Longmont and Lyons. So it's possible that as the afternoon heats up a little bit more, we could get something. If we start getting rain, it's not going to stop easily. So now I've got to go back, and I don't know what that is. All right, so flooding rains are a possibility. We have a big front out east. We still have rain chances for Thursday, and continued rain chances except the western slopes. There's a high mountain snow there. For the next 10 days, the ensembles are showing just every single afternoon a pulsing possibility of precipitation. I think the temperatures are nuts here, so don't pay attention to this. Normal temperatures go from 80 to 83, and the low from 50 to 53, and this has got us in the 60s every day. No, so something's wrong with the GFS ensemble that we're getting here. So the real story is the atmospheric moisture. The moisture is above average, and we're getting a nice feed out of the tropics. So here's some tropical moisture there, Gulf of Mexico moisture, and it's coming up and then kind of wrapping around a low that's sitting over California and Nevada border there. And that's what it looks like. So here is the low down here. We have this big omega block, is what it's called, because it's like the Greek letter omega. And it's when you have a low on one coast and low on the other coast, it just doesn't move. This is not a progressive pattern where a trough will come in the west coast and move off to the east coast. If the block pattern is wider in the United States, you can actually get systems go backwards. It happens. It's not too common. Of course, if the troughing distance is less than the width of the United States, rule of thumb is that they do move from west to east. The airflow is going through from west to east, but the pattern isn't changing. So we have this low here that's going to drift closer to us and then pull back and eventually come through next week, and then the pattern will reestablish. So here's next week. This is Tuesday night next week, and you can see there's the low pulling in, but it is short-lived. So let's put that in motion and watch it happen. You can see the trough just staying over Nevada there, and the trough spinning over New England, and the omega block all the way up into Canada, which is not helping with their heat and drought situation at all. In fact, there's a high pressure center right there in southern Canada. And then by Monday, Tuesday, the trough starts drifting our way, so we do get increased rain chances over the weekend. It moves on over to the Great Lakes, and look, a new one is forming off the California coast. By Friday, June 16th, we're almost into the same pattern. There's a little more of a ripple coming through there, but not much. For temperatures, one thing is interesting is how extremely hot it is up in Canada, above normal temperatures. The next thing to see is every afternoon right there, those little purple circles are the thunderstorms dropping cooling air and rain down on the surface. So you can see every afternoon, thunderstorm there, and then things kind of recover. Thunderstorms there. Wednesday next week. So the temperature map, temperature anomaly map, tells us different stuff. This is more important in the summer, and this is the precipitatable water. This is how much moisture there is up to the atmosphere. Green is above normal, blue is way above normal, brown is below normal. You can see that going into the weekend, this moisture really gets kind of compressed by another high coming down the plains, so we get our stormy weekend. It kind of dries out on Monday, Tuesday a little bit, but then a low pulls moisture right back in, and we're back to being above normal atmospheric moisture again. Yep, and we can look at surface moisture. This is dew point map, and for Colorado, 50s and above that's a lot of moisture. You see going into Friday and Saturday we're in the 40s. That's plenty moist for storms and all. And then we get some 50s in on Sunday. There's 52 up there. 55 dew points, 54 dew points into the next week. And it dries a little bit. There's some 30s around, but right away the moisture starts coming back in. Here's 40s again by Thursday, 50, near 50. So yeah, plenty of moisture still around for storms to continue. So let's watch what the model does. Of course, it's random where these storms initiate for the most part. So every run, the pattern's a little different, but it just shows thunderstorms and rain every afternoon. There's Sunday, a little front pushing some more moisture down and giving a focus for these things, but there's Tuesday, and like that. So you get the idea. Lots of moisture, and the heating kicks it off. So this is also kind of random where the bullseye precipitation amounts are, but there is about 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches of precipitation over the next 5 days along I-25, and even more in the mountains. There's some bullseyes there of 3.5 inches. And then if you go to the next 10 days, almost everybody is pulling 1.5 inches or 2 or more. So it just is going to keep going. Western slopes getting left out a little bit, but they got an excellent winter snowpack and lots of moisture then. So we hover in the upper 70s and low 80s going into the weekend. We cool down with a lot of cloud cover and precipitation on Sunday, and we go back to 70s and thunderstorms in the afternoon beyond that. It's a new month, so let's take a look at what the NOAA is saying, for better or for worse. And they've got us below normal temperatures and above normal precipitation. Well, looking into the fact that we're almost seeing to the middle of the month with the forecast, that looks good right now. Back in January, I put this graphic up showing that we had a good chance in the May, June, July, August, September blocks to see an El Nino coming in, and it's happening. It's happening, everybody. El Nino. So the models are all, not all, there's a couple outliers down here, a couple less enthusiastic ones, but the bulk of the models show El Nino conditions kicking in, which means that the easterlies at the equator are relaxing, and warm sea surface temperatures are sloshing back to the eastern side of the Pacific, which makes more moisture available to the United States as a rule. That's a little stronger signal in the southern half of the nation, but Colorado usually is normal to above normal precipitation during an El Nino. In my childhood, in the 70s and 80s, some of the El Ninos were so powerful that we had a very large amount of flooding in Arizona. It would wash away the bridges and stuff. So this will be interesting. It looks like a pretty strong one. So go to Longmont Leader and Broomfield Leader for frequent weather updates. I kept those going even when I could not make videos, so do check things out over there, and there's great local news as well. This has been Chief Meteorologist John Ensworth, wanting you to keep looking up.